What's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back to Knicks Deli, baby. I am your host, Sheer, and this is one of the first times in a long time since I've gone live. So what's going on, everybody? I want to welcome you back. If you are here for the first time and you are checking out Knicks Deli for the first time, baby, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for joining me. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to talk about the NBA. We're going to obviously talk about our New York Knicks, baby. But I want to welcome you to my KD community. Let's go. Welcome back, baby. Bullies back in the building. That's what I'm talking about. So if you are here for the first time, let me explain to you how the deli works. First off, welcome. Everybody eats here at Knicks Deli, baby. Everybody eats. But let me tell you how this works. Here at Knicks Deli, there are 4 items that are on the menu. First item on the menu, obviously, this is New York, baby. It's the bacon, egg, and cheese. The bacon, egg, and cheese. And during the season, we usually run the Knicks Deli after every New York Knicks win. So the bacon, egg, and cheese will go to 3 people who contributed to that game to help make that game best and help us win. Here in Knicks Deli, we're going to talk about what are 3 topics in the offseason. What are 3 topics that are on the mind that together make that sandwich best sandwich in New York? Next item on the menu. The next item on the menu is the dollar slice. So everybody knows New York has the best pizza in the world, obviously. But we're going to talk about who was the stabilizing factor. That's what pizza represents in New York. So we're going to talk about a topic that's going to be the dollar slice here in Knicks Deli. Next item on the menu is the chopped cheese. Chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be busting. So we're going to talk about what is the chopped cheese topic here in Knicks Deli today. And lastly, you can't have the bacon, egg, and cheese. You can't have the dollar slice. You can't even have the chopped cheese if you ain't got nothing to wash that thing down with. And here in Knicks Deli, we call that the quarter water of the game. So we're going to talk about what topic was the quarter water of the game so far of this offseason, so to speak. So then we're going to wrap it up. We're also going to add the nah, son, nah, you wildin' moment of the game. That's also where you look at somebody sideways and be like, nah, son, nah, you wildin', okay? So we're going to have a little bit of fun, but I wanted to hop on here, man, because there's a lot going on, man. And sometimes our New York Knicks always find our way in the center of it. For a team that gets crapped on so much, especially over the last 20 years, how do we find ourselves in the middle of controversy all the time? I don't get it. I don't get it. Do me a favor. As you log in, put your ones in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me, because I've done shows in the past. I'm talking 60-minute, 90-minute shows. 0 volume. So hit your ones in the chat if you can hear me. But we are going to get into it. Different from my regular videos. Y'all going to have to give me moments to chef this thing up. Here in Knicks Deli, everybody eats. So I'm also the chef. So I do my own producing. Okay? But we are going to get into it. I'm hyped. It's a great time of year, man. It'll be better if we were in the playoffs, obviously. But it's a great time of year. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of things, today here in Knicks Deli. We're going to talk about the coaching search. Obviously, the New York Knicks have moved on from Tom Thibodeau as our coach, respecting and love to Tibbs. I don't care what y'all talking about. I don't care what you're talking about. Tibbs will always be able to eat here at Knicks Deli, okay? But we're going to talk about who's the replacement and what that's going to require. Next up, we're going to talk about trade rumors. I mean, some of us don't want to hear it. Some of us simply want to run it back. But obviously, the New York Knicks are in a position now where they're always at the center of whatever the conversation is in the NBA. And that's a great place to be. There was a time when we weren't there. So we're going to talk about the trade rumors. We're going to talk about the possibilities and what that looks like. Then we are going to talk a little bit more general about what's going on in the NBA and a couple of things that popped up that irked me. We're going to talk about that here at Knicks Deli as well. But if you are a member of the KD community, if you are a member of the Knicks Deli community, you know that nothing I do happens without you. So I always like to give a shout out to the KD community with Sheer's top five. Dead or alive. So we're going to talk about Sheer's top 5 dead or alive. So number 1, shout out goes to Norm Hackdonald. Okay, number 1 is Norm Hackdonald. Number 2 is Bruce Banner 6980. Shout out to you. Number 3 is at Feeds the Legend. Shout out to you as well. Number 4 is Sam Smith Design. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. And number 5 is Avon Brown 8265. You have made Shear's top 5 dead or alive. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Okay. So once again, welcome to Knicks Deli. We are looking at the NBA Finals in a Game 7. Okay. Before I just get into anything on the menu, we got to talk about it. Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals 2025. Last night's game, the Pacers pulled it out, and now they actually go to a Game 7. And you tell me, is it just me? But am I the only mother flipper looking at the screen like, Ninja, do you know how close we were to a chip? Do you know how close we were to a mother flipping chip? That's gotta bother you. It bothers me. It's gotta bother you. It bothers me. So I'm sitting there like, OKC, a lot of us, we ain't going front. Come on now, we can't, look what they say. No cap, you can't cap on this one. A lot of us looked at OKC and we was just like, damn, that's a buzzsaw. These cats won, I think, 60-plus games. Damn, it would have been good. I mean, we clearly could have gotten past the Pacers. But we knew OKC was there waiting to take our cornbread off the plate. That's a fact. But listen, man, I mean, you got to give credit. Damn, I hate to say this on camera. You got to give credit to the Indiana Pacers, bro. Indiana Pacers just like, yo, listen, we could play with anybody. We could play with anybody. And let's, truth be told, their style of play with the speed that they're playing with, OKC has that capability of playing that way as well. And that's where you have to look at what the New York Knicks are doing as a move that's being done by a competent, forward-thinking organization. Because they know Tibbs has taken us as far as we can go. But with the change of a coach may also bring about a change of playing style. And that's the piece that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But what's clear in these playoffs, man, is just, damn, we were close, bruh. This is the closest that we have been to a championship since Hakeem Olajuwon's fingernail on John Stark's three-point shot. This is the closest we've been. I've been avoiding any of the media because I didn't want to read. I would much rather, though, if you're asking me who I'm pulling for, I'd much rather OKC. I'd much rather see iHeart win because I love my family. I love my family in Indiana. I love my people. But they're giving me the business right now. They are giving me the business right now. If you're not aware, I was in Indiana for 7 years, bro. 7 years. Love my family out there, my Indiana people. But I was out there for 7 years, baby. And they hit me up like, yo, shout out to my little brother Larry. He'd be up like, yo, man, I wanted to text you, but then I didn't want to text you because I didn't want you walking to Indiana coming for me. I'm like, yo, shout out to you. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to my cousin, Vincent. Shout out to my brother Danny. I was getting the business. Text messages I'd be ignoring. Any social media, I'd be ignoring those text messages. But shout out to them, man. I mean, the Indiana Pacers and the OKC Thunder, man. One of those two teams will have their first championship. It's just, look, big ups, man. We hope to be there. And, I guess we're going to discuss it and get into it. But good goodness. It's just painful to watch. It's just painful to watch and not think, damn, the Knicks, we were that close. Okay? So let me get into this, okay? I want to welcome you on to Knicks Deli. If you're just joining me, we're here. We're talking about the bacon, egg, and cheese. So who is the bacon, egg, and cheese here at Knicks Deli today? And we're going to start with the bacon, okay? The bacon will go to the coaching search. So we're going to talk about the coaching search today here at Knicks Deli, okay? So the coaching search includes a lot of potential, candidates. Before they were talking about Ime Udoka. Shout out to Ime Udoka. That would have been my pick. That would have been my choice. Defensive minded, has a connection with New York, modern, young enough with the players. He was a former player, so he could connect with them on that level. But Houston was just like, nah, son, nah, you wildin'. We ain't gonna let you talk to him. We just hit him with the bag. He ain't going nowhere. My team, just won X amount of games with a pretty young and raw squad. We are good. New York, stay over there. So they were just like, nah, we ain't trying to hear that, bro. We ain't trying to hear that. And look, credit to him. Credit to him. That's what you're supposed to do. So he's off the market. Next up, they were talking about the New York Knicks are really interested in Jason Kidd. And once again, I think that would be a great fit on so many levels. Jason Kidd has shown the ability to endure as a head coach in this league. He's shown improvement since his days starting with, I believe he started with, did he start with the Nets first or did he start with Milwaukee? Either which way, he's put in his time as a coach. And look, he's done his thing. He would be a natural fit for New York because he's already had the connection with Brunson, giving him the confidence, telling him, I'm going to help you get a bag. He's already been there and done that with him as well. But also, the New York Knicks are rumored to be after certain players. And one of those players happens to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I think that's another strategic piece. You got to think about it, Knicks fans, as frustrating as you may think it is, as much as you may buy into the narrative that the media is trying to feed you, the media is really trying to find unique ways to ish on us again. Oh, the Knicks are striking out. Oh, they're going to call all 30 of the teams. Oh, you know what? They're going to reach out to Coach Carter and they're going to contact Coach Carter from the movie and see if he's available. Come on, man. Sit there and let them try to bully you with the media clowning like they used to. It's not the same game. It's not the same game. Time and time again, Leon is showing them, look, you think you're smart. You think you're being funny, but I'm really being outside of the box in terms of my thinking to get this team to where we need to go. So trust in Leon. Trust in Leon. Because I think for a move where he targets Jason Kidd, he's thinking not only for the coach currently, but he's thinking, how does this position me in case this free agent becomes available? Now, I know many of you be like, listen, we were there before. You remember LeBron James. You remember this person. You remember that person. With LeBron James, we went out and got D'Antoni. We thought that was being strategic, and then he shunned us. I hear that. But get past the PTSD. With Leon Rose, 80% of his moves have worked out. So you got to trust that man. So J. Kidd might be a valid option as well. Once again, nothing's off the table. I know you're saying it's reported that they decline. All of that is fine and dandy. Money talks, and conversations continue to happen, and we have time. We don't need to make a hire in the next 2 weeks. This is going to go, for a little bit of a while. All right. So the most two recent candidates that were brought in and interviewed happen to be Taylor Jenkins and Mike Brown. And if you can, check my video that I did on Taylor Jenkins. It was a great opportunity for me to just kind of read through some articles, kind of go back to some interview clips and learn a little bit more about Taylor Jenkins, because obviously I didn't know much about him. I thought he did a great job when he took over in Memphis and got them rolling. Automatically, Ja started to, kind of really get comfortable with him. He was playing outside of his mind. That's also when they got Dylan Brooks. He added a little bit of an edge and a swag about them. They had the little dance, the hallway or whatever. All that's fine. It's an aura. There was an aura about him. But with John Morant, he started to get off the rails a little bit. The little gun, signs and all of that. And him being threatened to get, fined for doing it, him still doing it, that was a little bit of a sign that, are you losing a team? How much rope do you give to a team, especially a young team, before you kind of reel them in and just train them on how to be professionals to ensure that you not only stay on the same page as a team as a whole, but having longevity in the league. So some people may question that. from Taylor Jenkins, especially in New York, because you have that in Memphis, that's fine. Nobody's going to be on a large scale reporting out on it. It may get national articles every now and again. But you let that slide in New York, and then there's rumblings in the locker room in New York, media's going to sniff it out. Content creators are going to sniff it out. And it's going to be a wrap early. So the next coach, Tom Thibodeau, as much as y'all talk about Tibbs, as much as y'all criticize Tibbs, we're going to get into that. Tom Thibodeau is the blueprint for the type of characteristics that you need that's going to be mandatory on any coach's resume on how to manage your personality in the New York spotlight. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it's going to have to be. He has laid the blueprint, because you could be a player-friendly coach, you could be an up-tempo style coach, you could be fun, you could be a college coach, whatever have you. But you need to take notes on how he remained measured, because challenges are going to come. Rumors are going to come. Problems will come, and they're magnified in New York. They're magnified in New York. So you got to keep that in mind, absolutely, when you are, just thinking about who the next coach is going to be and whether or not they're going to be able to be successful here in New York. So the bacon of the bacon, egg, and cheese here in Knicks Deli is the coaching search. Mike Brown is a name that also was interviewed, that popped up, this week. And actually, I think they completed the interview with Mike Brown. I've never been a Mike Brown fan. At first, it started out with me just thinking LeBron hooked his people up. He brought somebody in who's not going to argue with the decisions he wants to make in terms of being a coach, especially in Cleveland. But obviously, if we're talking about consistency and staying power in this league, Mike Brown has it. And also what he was able to do in Sacramento when he first got there and turn that team around, I think once again, he showed that he is a good coach. I think he's shown that he is a good coach. Once again, I still have concern about him in New York. People will say, well, shit, but he coached in LA. I understand that. LA is different from New York. The level of scrutiny, the level of spotlight is the same. LA may have a little bit more spotlight with the glitz and the glam or whatever have you. But the level of criticism and scrutiny is different in New York, because not only does it come from media, it comes from your everyday fans who are now the new media. It comes from, you can't go nowhere without escaping the scrutiny. And as the coach, where you have to be a face that consistently faces it, it's a different type of person you have to be part of. And with Mike Brown, I'll never forget the stare of death that Kobe gave him. Yo, y'all need to go onto YouTube and look up stare of death. Kobe Bryant and Mike Brown. I will never, because to me that showed the ultimate symbol of disrespect. Like, I don't care what you're talking about. I don't respect any of the calls or plays that you're talking. You were the reason for us messing this game up. That's the look that Kobe gave him once, and it's been burned in my psyche ever since. I could never unsee it. So if you can, look that up, man, because I'm like, it is the ever imprinted visual that I will have for Mike Brown when the Mamba looked at him and was just like, nah, son, you out of here. And he was out of there. So tell me and leave me in the comments, man, who would you prefer to bring in? Do you have a dark horse pick in terms of the coach? I mentioned the name that I threw out there. Y'all may look at me and be like, nah, son, nah, you wildin', bro. You shouldn't even have a platform you mentioning that name. I mentioned D'Antoni's name. I know he's old as hell. He's like 75 now, but anybody who may have pieces of his system, should be considered, because I think in terms of these interviews, you got to know that people will say what has worked for the New York Knicks to bring us back to this point, because we don't want to take any steps backwards. So what has worked is a defensive identity, yes. And give credit where it's due. Tibbs has been at certain parts of the season, in each season he's been here, one of the top offensively in the season. You know, although when you watch it night in, night out, it may be uncomfortable. There may be moments where you're just like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But the numbers don't lie. You know, we've been in the conversation in terms of like the top 15 in terms of scoring So that's there. But I do think part of that coaching interview is what style of play do you see implementing in order to maximize this roster? You got a Cat, you got a Brunson, you got OG who has scoring ability. You got Mikal Bridges, who's a mid-range demon. What can you implement? Because I do know, I feel it in my gut that the New York Knicks need more motion. You can't have people camped out on the wings. I'm a Tibbs fan. I took Tibbs tablets before every game. I'm on Twitter, you know what I mean, fighting my Tibbs, anti-Tibbs people. You know what I mean? But these cats are planted in on the wings, just standing there waiting for the ball. That's why Obi wanted out there. Obi was just like, yo, bruh. The major part, shout out to Obi last night too. Major part of my game is like athleticism and cutting and dunking on somebody. You got me posted and pinned on the wing. I need to get out of here. All right. So let me know, who do y'all think would be a good, candidate, or who would you prefer? Me personally, I would prefer, and I know he's not available, but I thought the perfect candidate would have been Ime. What he was able to do in Boston with those two stars who don't have extroverted type of personalities, and what he was able to kind of do with that entire team and get them set for their next step, I think it was phenomenal. And what he's been able to do in Houston, come on, man. Stupid. He got dogs. And any coach who gonna press LeBron in the middle of a game and be like, man, who you think you? That's my guy. That's my guy. He got ejected that game, but he looked at LeBron like, yo, bro, I don't care. Who king you think you are? That, for me, that was the Ime moment. I was just like, that's what we need on the sidelines here in New York. That's New York right there. Okay, so let me know in your chats real quick in the comments. What do you think? Okay, and I'm gonna hit up the comments real quick. I want to thank y'all for rocking with me. This is Knicks Deli. We're in the bacon, egg, and cheese. So who is the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese here at Knicks Deli today? And the egg of the bacon, egg, and cheese here at Knicks Deli is trade speculation. Now, I know a lot of y'all is just like, damn, season ain't even over, bro. Can we finish this season before y'all start trying to get rid of our guys? You know that there are the run it back part of the fan base. There is the, you need to put as much out there as you can for Giannis if he's available, and we'll figure it out later type of the fan base. And then in recent days, there is the blow up Memphis situation where they traded Desmond Bane to Orlando. And now they're even talking about, there's even rumblings out there about Ja Morant. And I actually heard some Knicks fans was just like, nah, we could pass on that. I was just like, really? You know what I mean? But Jaren Jackson Jr., is a name that popped up. A former defensive player of the year, a young kid, a pup, as somebody that the New York Knicks said that they can see pairing him up with Karl Anthony Towns in the starting lineup is a wet dream, So these are the different type of it's buzzing right now in the middle of an NBA Finals. We're about to go into a Game 7, and right now the buzz is trade talk. Okay, so I talked a little bit about KD. I didn't even mention KD actually. So KD, trade talk is there out of Phoenix. If you ask me, man, I think KD cares about his legacy. He destroyed it, bro. He should have stayed. He should have stayed in Golden State and won 10 rings, bro. It would have completely eliminated, even if it didn't, even if they still would have been like, he should have stayed in OKC. You don't care. 10 rings. 10 rings. You side by side with Steph would have prolonged Klay Thompson's time there. And with Draymond, if Draymond would have kept his mouth shut, he probably would have stayed, but he probably wouldn't, because I think he still would have been sensitive about being in Curry's shadow. He knows that wouldn't have been his team. But the truth of the matter is he's proved that there is no team that's his team. The closest thing that would have been his team was OKC, because he went to Brooklyn thinking that he was going to get that New York energy and realized that Brooklyn is not New York. And then he's now trying to circle back, and he identifies the New York Knicks as one of the teams he would be interested in. And now we don't want him. KD turned into the 30-year-old, who was, when it was like 20, just popping. Everything was tight or whatever have you. And then, 19 kids later or whatever, you're a little bit more thick or whatever have you. Now you want to circle back. And they're looking at you like, nah, man, I'm blowed up now. I done graduated college 3 times. I'm a leader of a media company or whatever have you. Now you want to dive in? Nah, we ain't doing that, bro. You wildin'. That's kind of what it's giving right now. New York Knicks is like, no, thank you, but no, thank you. You 37. You still Slim Reaper though. But it's not with what it is that we want to try to do. We want long-term sustainable winning. Had this been Isaiah Thomas, damn well KD would be today would be a press conference. If this was Isaiah Thomas, this would be a press conference day. We'd be introducing KD and whoever, and have sent out 9 of our starters. And there's only 5 starters. We would have sent out 9 of our starters for KD. So it's a different time, man. But it's just ironic that now, back in the day, he didn't want us. Now we hot. He all on us. You know what I mean? That's so crazy. The other part is Giannis. And I think Giannis doesn't want to be the bad guy. But I do think he looks at New York and what we've been able to do. And I think he does look at it and say, yo, what if I still have 2 or 3 years in my prime? If I align myself with somebody else who helps with the heavy lifting, what is it going to be? And I've never played in a market where I have a great portion of my fans who are from my home country. Yo, he gets love when he comes out here to New York from, he gets, as New York Knicks fans know basketball. So he's going to get props. He's going to get love from us as well. But for him to have that Greek type of fan base that's planted in the city will take his brand to a whole nother level. And I know anywhere you are, you can get brand. Y'all know what I'm saying. But I think it's something that he would have to seriously consider, because Milwaukee is cooked. Dame is cooked. When they got Dame, he was cooked. I'm sorry. Say what you will. When they got him, he was cooked. That's why I had zero fear. I'm like, even with Julius Randle or whatever have you, nobody fears the Bucks, because we saw the deterioration of Dame's game. He'll have moments, yes, but not to the level that Giannis needs to get them back over top. It's not. This league is too young and too talented. So we're looking at KD, Giannis, Jaren Jackson as possibilities. And like I said, you have part of the fan base who says, the Knicks are trying to be strategic and they're tweaking and they're making a move. We trust them. And then there's other part of the fan base who says this is the first season with 2 prominent new pieces to the team, Cat and Mikal Bridges. And it took us to the Eastern Conference Finals. What are we talking about? Switch it up. Run this squad back. And to those very same people, I say, keep that same energy if it would have been keep Tom Thibodeau, because Tom Thibodeau was able to manage their personalities there. Tibbs is going, I'm going to get off that. But still, you have the running back people versus the let Leon cook people. So we're going to see how it goes, man. But trade speculation in the middle of the NBA Finals is nasty work. But I love it. It's the NBA. So lastly, before I get to the comments, I want to thank y'all. If you could hear me clearly, please put your ones in the chat. I see comments. I'm hoping that y'all not leaving comments saying we don't hear you. Actually, let me go to that real quick before. There we go. There we go. My guy Keith is in the building. What's up, Keith? I'm going to get to these real quick first. I don't want them to start building up. So shout out to my guy. What's up, Keith? Keith Turner, shout out to you. He says, "What's good, everybody?" He also says, Mike Brown has the best resume, and he has a championship, and he's also won Coach of the Year twice. I'm leaning towards Mike Brown. I respect that, man. Only thing I'll say to that is how many of those teams did he have LeBron on? That's just different. I wonder how many accolades Tibbs would have had if he had a player like LeBron, you know? So Keith also says Tibbs brought a lot of stability, but it comes at the cost of a lot of frustration. That's a fact. That's a fact, but that's every coach in this league. Something that I love to do during the season when we're playing teams, I love to go to the opposing team's press conferences, especially after the games, because I like to hear the fans, sulk. I like to see the players sulk or whatever have you. But the fan bases on opposing teams, everybody has a criticism about their coach. Everybody. It comes with the fan base. So I think the same thing could be said for any other team, about their coaches as well. Keith is rocking and rolling right now. He says, I don't get the Mike Brown disrespect. He's clearly has accomplished way more than Taylor Jenkins. I would say true. I don't know. I did a video and I haven't actually released it yet on Mike Brown, because for both Taylor Jenkins and Mike Brown, I wanted to I wanted to hear what the players thought when they left. So I created a video with Mike Brown, and I was surprised. I think Mike Brown was done dirty in Sacramento. I think he was done dirty, and I think what's his name, De'Aaron Fox I think he was at the core of it, because it was a surprise with the success that he had out there. And all of a sudden it started to taper off. Honestly speaking, you need whoever's the leader of your team, the supposed rising star or superstar of your team, they need to be on the same page as the coach, which is why I love the fact that they got Tibbs and they had Jalen Brunson. Because had Jalen Brunson not been on his team, there probably would have been anarchy way before in terms of Tom Thibodeau and his critiques from players. But the fact that the best player on the team who is emerging as a superstar is the number one fan of the coach that is not necessarily popular around the league, Jalen Brunson and this New York Knicks team restored Tibbs' credibility around the league. You remember they were considering him antiquated. They was talking about players, he would lead the league year after year in terms of coaches that players didn't want to play for. But then you can't argue success. You can't argue success. And with Brown, like you're saying, it's tough to argue success. But a lot of the comments, it was so disrespectful, that comment that De'Aaron Fox had when Mike Brown got released. It was just like, do you feel, guilty, about him? He said guilt. I don't know if I want to say guilt. I mean, he still is going to make $30 million. Bruh. The man was like, he's still getting a check. Come on, B. Come on, B. Come on, bro. Then you have, Sabonis was just like, I credit him for really contributing to my growth or whatever. Everybody else is saying kind things. This man was just like, you know what? He's still going to get a check. Are you serious? So I do think he got shafted in Sacramento, And honestly, I just think if he builds out his staff right, I think it would work. You know what I mean? I think Woody did a great job when we hired Woody, or actually when Woody took over for D'Antoni. It was just like, let's see what you could do. I think Woody did a great job of just saying, I saw a lot of what it did work, but I'm going to hold these cats accountable. That's what Woody brought to the table. And he had enough respect, once again, from Melo and all the vets, that you can get that done. So that's going to be an important piece. Whatever coach you bring in is going to need to be really respected and connected to the stars on the team. And the beauty of the team that we have is we do have a team of veterans, great seasoned veterans who are stars in this league, who are all on the same path of entering their prime. So we will see. But shout out to Mike Brown. I want to give him I'll give him his props. You're right. I'm gonna skip a little bit of these real quick. Taylor Jenkins or Mike Budenholzer, you think, Marvin Smith? All right, we will see. I'm sure that New York is going to do their due diligence. That's exactly what's taking place. So everybody can talk what they will about New York reaching out to all 31 teams coaches. It's called due diligence, y'all. Yeah, look, it's been 3 or 4 years now, maybe 5 years. I'm sorry, since Leon has been here. Let me know. It feels like 5 years. It could be like 3 years now since he's been here. Before that, we really almost forgot how a good organization is run. That is due diligence, and he's doing the work. Remember when Phil Jackson was sleeping during workouts? Y'all keep circling that picture of Leon Rose sleeping in the lounge chair when you know legitimately and literally we have Phil Jackson sleeping in the stands. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. So I'm going to let me run through these real quick, and then I can get back to the bacon, egg, and cheese. All right. So we have Keith Turner. KD legacy got destroyed once he went to Golden State. Those are absolute facts. Coach CR, 617, Knicks Deli. Yo, shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Keith Turner said, "What up at coach?" Yep. Shout out to y'all. Mike Brown is a great coach, better than Tom to me. I hear you. Why do you think the job is too big for Johnny Bryant? Okay, I know that was a question for Keith. I saw you post that on another chat. If your mission is to win a championship, why would you hire Johnny Bryant with zero experience? Like, all of those things are true. People will make the Spoelstra argument as well, but you know that internally they had a system of support for Spoelstra. I think ultimately that's what you're going to be looking at. When we bring a coach in, it may be important that they have championship experience, whether it's as a player or as a coach. On some level, the reputation matters. I also do think they're going to make unorthodox interviews. I think Rajon Rondo may get an interview. I think, they may even bring in Mark Jackson. I keep hearing that kind of resurface as well. So we will see, man. Those are great points. But I want to thank y'all. Do me a favor, man. Hit the like button on here. As some of you come in, I know sometimes it's lunch hour. You may have to head out. Don't head out without hitting the like button. Hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. So anytime I drop a video or go live. So we're going to move on and talk about who was the cheese of the bacon, egg, and cheese today here at Knicks Deli. And it's going to be Mikal Bridges. This man is up for an extension. Let's talk about our guy, Mikal Bridges. And do you think, ladies and gentlemen, that it's time to get Mikal Bridges a contract extension similar to OG's? Let me know in the chat. Should we give Mikal Bridges? Now, OG, I think, had 5 years, $212 million. I think Mikal would be looking at maybe 4 years, 156. 4 years, 156. So what do y'all think about that? Should we extend Mikal? Let's talk about the pros and the cons of it. I think the pros is, one, the man is durable as hell. He is the NBA's Iron Man right now. The man has not missed a game. In the NBA since he's been here. Okay, not just with the Knicks, but in the NBA. So you get durability when you got Mikal Bridges. Somebody who's going to be there night in and out, night out. He's a two-way player. So not only is he there night in and night out, but the man is playing both sides of the floor. So he is there defensively and he's there offensively. So that's what we're looking at. And then he's part of the Villanova boys. He adds cohesion. He's played with two of the integral pieces, that are part of this team's vision. So he has the familiarity to know to have honest conversations when they need to be had, to play the part, or to speak up as he did when he told Tibbs, "Yo, bruh, it's too many minutes. You spread it out because we play a little bit more of the roster. Took a lot of calling, it took a lot of that to be able to come to Tibbs and be like, yo, I'm going to say it, and then go to his boys and be like, talk to your boy. Because I don't know if I could be here. Allegedly there was somebody on the team who said, I don't know if I could be here another year if Tibbs is still the coach, And, for a man that's going to be coming up on an extension, I think next year, it's, to me, it kind of said that could have been Mikal Bridges, okay? So I think the pros are the man is durable. He's a two-way player. He brings cohesion. And if we decided to extend him now, to the 4-year 156 or 154 million, it might be a bargain. It might be a bargain for us to get him as a player who is entering his prime years. For us to extend him, if he's going to be part of our vision moving forward, it could be a prime time. So those are the pros for it. The cons would be, and do me a favor, if you have any cons to signing him right now, put it in the chat. What the cons would be, some of the ones I come up with is he's not necessarily a true star for us. Now, that could have been as a result of the coach. It could be, what is the coach? Is the coach using him right? But he never really formulated himself as a star. He did have moments where he was getting comfortable, but in order to do so, you have to be more consistent than he's been. And he's had more moments in the playoffs than he did during the regular season. You got 82 games to show what you could do. And it was only until the playoffs where he strung together more moments. Okay? So I think that could be argued either way, from his side, pros, to the other side, to the team side, cons. It could be argued either way, but not necessarily being a true star, and not necessarily being consistent, enough to be able to warrant that amount. But also, I think if the New York Knicks do decide to extend him this summer, then it may limit us in terms of cap flexibility-wise and the ability to kind of make a move if an opportunity arises and it's a major opportunity. So I think those are a couple of the things that would make you say, do I really want to take this opportunity, especially in this offseason, to be able to extend Mikal Bridges and bring him on? So that is the cheese of the game. In terms of the comments, let me run to the comments. It look like y'all are going at it in there. Okay. So let me just comb through these a little bit. I appreciate y'all with the ones in the chats as well. JJ, Bridges isn't getting you, JJ. Look, people are talking about what it would take in order to get that kid here. Put it this way, don't underestimate Leon, because there's been moves. Look, nobody would have ever thought that in order to get Cat, we re-signed a player that was across seas to a contract. Leon got lawyers and people looking at all interesting, unique ways to pull trades off. Keep in mind, before the season started, Adam Silver had beef with the Knicks because he was just like, you knew the rules so well, you knew how to get around them. So when you see a trade that pops up and you're like, that ain't going to happen, stop sleeping on Leon. Stop sleeping on that man, because he found an unorthodox way to pull the trade off. So it was wild. Nobody expected that. Coach, shout out to you, Coach. Shout out to Keith as well. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. So I'm gonna keep it moving. I see we got the Bridges talk. I'm gonna keep it moving. So next top, who is the dollar slice of the game here at Knicks Deli? And the dollar slice is going to go to our guy, Deuce McBride. With all of the trade talk and all of the ill feelings because we're not necessarily in the finals, I want to give a shout out to our guy, Deuce, man. The dollar slice is going to go to Deuce. Y'all know our boy actually became a dad. Shout out to Deuce McBride, man. Happy Father's Day. Let me give that man the credibility that he is due. Let me give him the largest screen. You see this, man? And then let me move the sign. You see his come on, man. He's a new dad. Yo, put congrats in the chat for Deuce, man. We've seen this kid grow, bro. We've seen this kid get drafted. Thanks to Tom Thibodeau. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau. Drafted this kid. Through the trade, it presented him more opportunities to get playing time. He's a dog, steady part of the rotation, and looks like he's going to be part of the future. So he definitely has a lot to work on. But because he had more time this season, he was able to see what are some things he needs to work on, having getting more minutes with the starters. But congratulations and shout out to Deuce. He's become a new father, and the man became an author at the same time. So if you can see this as well, the man authored with his wife a children's book. It's called Deuce, the Champion of Friendship. Unfortunately, that's the only championship he's going to have this season. It's the only championship he's going to have this season, but he is the champion of friendship. And what a beautiful gift, man, for him to become a dad and to write this book. He knows that's going to be something that, whether I'm not sure if he had a girl or boy, but his son or his daughter will know that this directly is a gift for them that will last forever. So shout out to Deuce McBride, our guy, the dollar slice of the game. Dollar slice of the game. All right. Real quick, y'all, I want to thank y'all for sticking with me. We about to wrap it up. I got a few more, but shout out to you. Do me a favor. This is my Twitter. These are my socials. So we're going to socialize real quick. These are my socials. So you can find me on Twitter at Knicks Deli. Sub me up. Follow me on there. Instagram, I need to be more on top of my Instagram. Follow me on there as well. Obviously, you hear on YouTube. I'm actually on Reddit as well. And yeah, man, follow me, man. We trying to build this thing up. I've definitely been more consistent with my videos, but we're going to kind of keep it moving. So we're at the chopped cheese. Okay. So, the chopped cheese is relatively new to that New York menu, but that thing be busting. So we want to see what is the chopped cheese here in Knicks Deli today. And the chopped cheese is going to go to the former Knicks who are in the finals. I got to give them props, man. And this is another thing I'm going to talk about in terms of the New York Knicks as a legitimate organization doing business the right way. Because media is trying to paint some things recently. You have Austin Rivers, who recently on his platform came out and said, yeah, the Knicks don't necessarily do good business. I got to speak on how I was treated while I was there, And I think one of the Morris brothers also recently came up and he was just like, yo, I heard that comment. I got to talk about how they treated me on the way out. Well, listen, whether Leon Rose was there or not, the New York Knicks have made strides. And so there was so much that needed to be fixed when Leon Rose and his team came on. That everything is not going to be perfect. If you purchase a house, that's a fix me up. You can't fix it all up at one time. You may pick the top 7 things that has problems with it. You address that. And a year or 2 from now, you'll be able to get to the other things. But what is the most important thing you got to take care of in terms of the structure of your house? You address that first. And Leon Rose, if nothing else, has taken care of the players that we've shipped out. And it's been important to do that, especially with the young players, that the fan base loves. So ask Emmanuel Quickly. Ask R.J. Barrett. Ask Obi Toppin. Ask iHeart. I know iHeart walked. But still, for iHeart to go to a team, but him to have that experience that he had while he was there, all of those players, ask Julius, ask Dante, all of those players made Final Four this year in the playoffs. So when they shipped them out, it's not like they shipped them out to Siberia. They shipped them to teams where not only could they get more time, but they could compete. And a few of those times, people looked at the Knicks fans and was just like, why would you do that? You didn't get enough from that. You could have got more from that. That's when you're being greedy versus you trying to be mindful of taking care of that player and his family. All of those players, I'm sure, when once a Knick, always a Knick, time comes up, they're going to be here in the Garden getting love. But they took care of them. They haven't always done that. We admit that. But what they're trying to paint and sprinkle in the narrative, what I've seen in the last few weeks, is because of how Tom Thibodeau, and listen, Tom Thibodeau and Leon are friends. Y'all trying to make it sound like he just kind of did Tibbs dirty. That's not how it went. You know that conversation was a long time coming and a possible consideration. He actually almost had to get rid of him, I think, in December when we were flailing. So it was, it's wild. But don't let the outsiders try to divide us, y'all. Don't let the outsiders try to divide us. The New York Knicks in this front office has done a masterful job of taking care of the players that they had to move on from. And it's been intentional. And we see that because we see Obi for the Pacers clearly went over there because, Julius broke out and Julius was going to get those minutes. And Obi knew he could contribute more. And obviously 20 points in the finals, he could. He went to the Pacers and he started anew. Ihart went to OKC because he thought they better positioned him for a championship run. They did. And salute to him. So I just want to take this opportunity for the chopped cheese to salute both those cats. If you ask me if I have a preference, obviously I want Ihart. I do not want to see the Pacers win. But once again, shout out to both of those teams, man. If the Pacers win, they earn it. They deserve it. They deserve it. They earned it. If the OKC win, they deserve it. They earned it, man. Damn, we were so close, bro. But shout out to those former Knicks, man. Shout out to Obi Toppin, bro. Always love. He didn't give us hate on the way out, but he didn't necessarily show us love. He just wanted to be about his business and move on and get a fresh start. He did that. And the Knicks still took care of him by signing his brother. Come on, y'all. Come on with it. So shout out to Obi Toppin and Ihart. We see y'all, bro. And for me, I'm like, yo, once you the ops until you once a Knick, always a Knick again. But I'm going to show respect. Show respect to both of y'all, man. Y'all get the chopped cheese here at Knicks Deli, baby. Everybody eats, goddammit.
Everybody eats.
Here at Knicks Deli. So shout out to y'all. Next up on the menu is the quarter water of the game. Who gets the quarter water of the game as we start to wrap up Knicks Deli here? Thank y'all for being with me. I'm coming up on an hour. I wanted to keep this an hour. Good look, y'all. I know it's a Friday. Who gets the quarter water of the game? And yes, you guessed it, damn it. Quarter water of the game goes to Tibbs. You Tibbs haters, you can log out now and just sign back on in about 2 minutes. Look, Tibbs wrote a thank you letter to New York, which is also why y'all mother flippers know it's business. Leon hit his friend up. He was just like, yo, guy, we can hit you up. Maybe in about a year ago, we're going to get you a consultant check. You know what I mean? But take this year off. You got money. You know what I mean? Like, go on vacation, bro. You know that at the very beginning of this journey, we said we're going to go as far as we can go and see what it is, and we may have to pivot. I'm sure that conversation happened early. And this is, to me, proof and evidence of it. Tom Thibodeau is a classy guy, man. He's a classy dude. He's a classy dude. For him to take out in the New York Times full-page ad thanking the New York Knicks fans, come on, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Because he remembers what he inherited. Say what you will about Tom Thibodeau. Nobody wanted to come here. Nobody wanted to coach us. Nobody thought we could pull this out of the doldrums. Max Kellerman said, I look forward to seeing you 5 years from now when you're in the same situation that you're in now after trying to make these moves. Where is he? Nobody wanted to come here. So the Knicks went out and got Leon Rose, and then they went out and brought Tibbs in. They went through a comprehensive search like this year, and they brought in the right coach for this job, for that team. And in the first year, we had nobody. And Tom Thibodeau took us to the playoffs with nobodies, bruh. So for him to get fired and it hit the news like a meteorite, like a meteor, and he let the chatter die down, and then he emerged, with the letter just thanking the fans. And in Tom Thibodeau fashion, it was brief, but it's salute, bro. Because family is not always going to be love. We're going to, especially in New York, we're going to let you know how it is. So everybody, you got your right to criticize. You got your right to let your opinions be heard. But at the end of the day, you got to respect the man for taking the job. He took the job. He loved it. He came through the New York pipeline. He has New York Knicks DNA. And he knows that's what comes with it. The most passionate fan base who will let their opinions be heard, whether it's through TV or on the street. We'll walk up to you in a restaurant and be like, yo, Tips. Bruh, extend the roster. So shout out to Tibbs, man. You get the quarter water, my brother, here at Knicks Deli. You know, next year I'm gonna switch this to the Arizona iced tea, but the quarter water just rolls off the tongue. Pause. Wait. Rolls off the tongue. Hey yo is right. And since we're talking about Ayo, we got the glizzy of the game. All of the items on the menu can't be good. We gotta have that one item on the menu for the haters that might have a little bit of a tinge of negativity to it. Because here at Knicks Deli, friend or foe, everybody eats. So who is going to get the glizzy of the game? You get a glizzy. You get a glizzy. Everybody in your squad get a glizzy. Okay? And who gets the glizzy of the game? Yep. Here at Knicks Deli, and that's got to go to your boy, LeBron James. What are we talking about? What are we talking? Let me bring this up on the screen a little bit larger because I need to get your boy, LeBron James, is talking some craziness. This man said in his interview with another hand-selected puppet that's going to lead the change the narrative debate, I don't know where ring chase culture comes from. Yeah, he said that. Your boy LeBron James said, I don't know where ring chase culture comes from. Oh, hell, you definitely getting the glizzy of the game. You need to shut the flip up. You don't know where. Let me tell you where ring chase culture comes from. He said, it's like saying Peyton Manning can't be in the same room with Brady or Mahomes because he has only one ring. They don't never discuss that in their sport. Bro, you led the charge. What are you talking about? It was you that said Dwayne Wade called you after watching Kobe Bryant get his 5th ring and said, we can't let him get any more. We're never going to be able to catch up. We're never going to be able to catch up. We can't let him get more. We should what you going to do, LeBron? We should team up. And when you teamed up, what did you say? Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 7. Why would you say 7? Why would you say 7? Why? Because this guy. That's why you would say 7. Because this guy has 6. You created ring chase culture. You created ring chase culture. You teamed up with your friends to ring chase and try to catch Kobe. But that's what you sold to D Wade. I'm going to ring chase to try to catch Kobe. But ultimately what you did was you knew they were the quickest vehicle for you to try to get this guy. You the one responsible for ring chase culture. What are you talking about? You don't know where it come from. Now you're trying to change the narrative. When you won that title against Golden State, what did you say? This right here made me the best player of all time. Why are you so concerned with being the best player of all time? Bro, you are on Mount Rushmore. Without doing another thing, you're already one of the GOATs. You just locked in because you're trying to get everybody to say you are the GOAT. And now that your time is dwindling, you see Father Time creeping up on you. You see the writing on the wall. Now you're trying to switch the narrative. I don't know why ring culture is a thing. What? You can't move the goalpost. You cannot move the goalpost. Nah, son, nah, you wildin'. But before we get there, you, my guy, get the glizzy of the mother flipping game. No, you get the glizzy. And don't spit that on the carpet. You get the glizzy of the game. And as we wrap this thing up, yo, thank y'all for rocking with me. Last item on the menu is the Nah Son Nah You Wildin' moment of the game. And that goes to our guy, Jalen Mother Flippin' Brunson. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. And shout out to WWE 2K25. Yo, I'm a wrestling head. I haven't been able to watch it in a number of years. But I got the PS5, man. I plan on getting the game, bro. But this is cold. This is cold. I just love seeing it. Let me put it on the full screen. I love seeing it. You know, you got our guy JB, part of the game now. You know what I mean? It's just, for me, it's just dope, man. If you are a kid from the 90s kind of growing up, we were there. Look, I saw every iteration of video games created. That I'm old as hell. Yeah, I know. Yeah, better cut it out. I'm old as hell. But, you know, I've seen every iteration of it created, and this is just good to see, man. Our guy JB. Also, I like that on TikTok or Instagram, they got this little meme that's here. I think this is dope, man. You see a little bit of it's tough. You got the different players with the type of animal that they embody, you know. So you got the like king of the jungle, man. You got the crown, you know, lion that's walking behind him. He has that energy, that spirit to it. You know, so it's good to see. So the Nah Son Nah You Wildin' moment of the game goes to the WWE.
Nah Son Nah You Wildin'.
For doing a great job of having JB on there as well. So that is it, y'all. That is it for Knicks. You know, shout out to all of y'all who was able to join me. What am I doing? There we go. Shout out to all of y'all who was able to join me for this iteration of Knicks Daily, baby. We had fun. NBA Finals is upon us, man. Let me take one last look at the chat and see what y'all are talking. I want to thank y'all for vibing with me. I know it's been like more than a year or so for me to actually do a live. So I thank y'all for rocking with me. My guy Keith, my guy Coach, you know, my guy Sherwin just stepped in, talked about Obi left for playing time. His defense sucks and Tibbs demanded better defense from him. Yeah, we understand that. We don't have it. We don't have what it takes to get Jackson Jr. Sharon, once again, man, don't sleep on Leon. My guy Wiz is in the building. Nah, son. You know, Wiz says, I think Johnny Bryant can do the job better than Tibbs did for this group and this generation of players. I don't know. Maybe a new voice, a new direction, and let's see if we can discover somebody. Eric Spoelstra was like a game film attendant, something along those lines. You know, he put together the game tape. So Sherman also says we went to the conference finals because of Tibbs. Absolutely, man. It's going to be a major focus on whoever that new coach is, because Tibbs has big shoes that they got to fill. Tibbs has big shoes that they got to fill. Everybody from this point forward is going to be compared to Tibbs. So we'll see how that works out. And I'll end with Wiz also says at Sherman, we thank Tibbs for what he did, but now we need more. And that's a perfect way to end it. Perfect way to end it. Everybody eats. Y'all, want to thank y'all for joining me, man. It's great seeing y'all and talking to y'all again. Follow the channel. I'm putting out videos as much as possible, but keep this in mind. Same thing applies to life that applies to our team. If there's no struggle, there's no progress. But also remember this, whether it's out there in the real world or here in these YouTube streets, here in Knicks Deli, everybody eats. I'm your boy Sheer, and I'm out. Peace.